Hi, and welcome back to Yoga with Tim. Today we're going to focus a little bit on the arms to prepare for some inversions and arm balances. So let's begin today's practice in child's pose, and we'll just take a moment to connect to our breath. So have your big toes together, your knees just wide enough for your ribs to fit in between, and then stretch your arms forward. Now, if you have a block for today's practice, I'm going to recommend placing a block underneath your head to actually pull you out of the pose a little so we get into the arms better. So your tendency might be to just kind of sink into your head, into your shoulders, into your neck. But instead, with the block, I'm going to have us lift up a little bit so that we can access the external rotation of the arms. So now, as you push down into your middle three knuckles, turn your outer shoulders down, wrap your triceps down, and then instead of sinking, I want you to grow yourself longer. So feel your spine decompress as you slowly let your forehead drop down onto the block. Breathe space into your hips, into your lower back. Then as you inhale, lift your gaze and walk your hands over to the right. Feel a stretch into your left side ribs. Walk your hands over to the left. Release your right hip back down and breathe into your right side ribs. Then come back to center, come up onto your hands and your knees, and if your wrist will allow, turn the hands around so that the fingers point back and the thumbs point out to the side. If it's too much on your wrist, then just turn your fingers out to the side. So with this rotation, let your collarbones open, tip your sit bones up to the ceiling, and one vertebra at a time, let your spine roll into a back bend. And then tuck your buttocks towards the backs of your knees, round to your lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck. Let's do that 2 more times, moving with the breath. Then come into a neutral spine, turn your hands around, and let's mobilize the hips together. So lift your right knee off to the side just a little bit without your middle sinking, and then start to make, circles with your knee, but keeping your core engaged, your spine long. Start to make the circles bigger. And then change the direction. Change legs, lift your left knee and start to make little circles, keeping your core engaged. Make the circles bigger. Change the direction. Then set that knee down and keeping your middle lifted, extend your reach your right arm out in front of you, turn the thumb up. Keeping your middle lifted, stretch your left leg back behind you. And then engage the glute, move the buttock to the back of the knee, and lift the foot up just an inch without your middle sinking. Lower your hand and your knee. Change sides, send your left arm forward, rotate the outer shoulder down, stretch your leg back, lift up your middle. Then without your middle sinking, lift your back foot up. Lower your hand and your knee. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, lower down. Then press down into your hands, curl your toes under and stretch back into downward facing dog. One handprint at a time, walk your hands back to your feet. Put a little bend in your knees as you let your head drop. and then roll yourself up slowly to stand. Inhale your arms up. Then drop your right arm to the side and side bend to your right. Reach down through your left heel as you reach up past your left fingers. Change sides, right arm up. Drop your left arm as you side bend to the left. Reach down through your hip into your heel. Breathe space from your side ribs up into your fingers. Bring both arms up. And then spread your arms. Lead with your heart like a swan dive. Fold forward. Inhale to slide your hands up your shins. Navel up, heart forward. Exhale, fold forward. Reach down through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Spread your arms out, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into a flat back. Then walk your hands out into a plank position. Engage your core. Keep your middle lifted and your collarbones open as you bring your right knee up to your right elbow. Change legs, left knee to left elbow. Stretch that leg back. Raise your right leg up an inch. Don't let your hips sink. Change, raise your left leg up an inch. Set that foot down and lie down onto your belly. Then stretch your arms all the way forward. Press down into the tops of your feet. Press down into your hands. Feel your triceps engage. And as you keep your lower belly lifted, the skin on your lower belly lifted, now turn your thumbs up and lift your hands up just an inch without losing the triceps and the lower belly. Then bend your elbows back into cactus position. Open up your chest. Stretch your arms forward. Press the pinky fingers down and get long again. Engage your triceps as you push down. Belly up. Bend your elbows back into cactus position as you lift up. And stretch your arms forward. Press the pinky fingers down, thumbs up. Last one, bend your elbows back. Then arms straight back, roll your heart open. Lower your chest down and press straight up into plank pose. Stretch back into dog pose. Then walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Reach down to your feet and inhale, come all the way up to stand. Raise your arms up. Exhale, release your arms down at your side. Now we're going to try to see if we can refine this movement. So you're going to need a block and you need to go over to a wall. So I'm going to stand with my back against the wall to help to find my plumb line, my Tadasana line. For most people, when you stand in mountain, the hips will want to come forward, the body will sink like this. And then to get your chest to open, you'll roll the shoulders back and then project your body even further forward. So instead, I want us to stand against the wall and bring the hips back, shoulders back, and head back. And if you're not used to standing like this, it might feel awkward because we spend most of our time with the head forward. So with the head back in position, let's now take a block out in front. For this one, I'm using a foam block. The heavy wood block I use normally might be a little gnarly for this. So now I push down into my feet evenly, the center of the heel bones, big toe mound, little toe mound. And then without my middle bowing forward at all, I deepen and keep the abdominal wall long and strong. Slowly raise your arms up. Just go up halfway. And then practice the same action. Remember when you're pushing down into the floor with your pinky fingers and your triceps turned on? Can you do that here to stabilize the arm? And then slowly start to raise your arms up higher and higher without your middle leaving the wall. Can you keep your tricep engaged? Slowly bring your arms back down and then lower the block down all the way. Again, take your block out in front of you. If you're doing this well, it should feel pretty hard. And then slowly raise your block up. Notice what's trying to leave the wall. And notice if your knees are trying to lock back. Don't let the knees lock to avoid it. Feel your core strong. Engage your tricep. And when you engage your tricep, feel your humeral head, the inner shoulder sink into the socket. Now spread through your shoulder blades and lift up into your pinkies, into your hands. to help to move. Now, if you keep your sternum depressed, you won't be able to take the arms all the way up. So now lift the upper sternum and then start to take the arms up higher, but without your ribs leaving the wall. Bring your arms back down, and let's come back to the mat now and see if we can incorporate those actions. So stand at the front of your mat, connect down into your feet, stand like your back's against the wall. Take your arms forward, imagine you're holding the block as you raise your arms up. Then lift the upper sternum, stretch all the way up, and fold forward. Inhale into the flat back position. Step into the plank, and when you hold in plank, you should feel the same feeling as when you're at the wall, just arms out in front. Now see if you can maintain that as you lower into low plank. Lie onto your belly, inhale into low cobra. Lower your chest back down, press up into plank pose, glide back into dog. So even in your down dog, instead of trying to sink and round yourself towards your feet, I want you to grow your spine like when you're long at the wall. It's the same actions. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach down through your feet. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Plant your hands and step back. Find your plank, then maintain as you lower slowly. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Press down through your left foot and raise your right leg up. Shift into plank, pull your knee up to your chest. Lift up high, and lightly step your foot up by your thumb as you drop your back knee. Hands to your right knee, upright yourself, lift your middle as you raise your left arm up. Bring your left hand down, lift your back knee, and twist, take your right arm up. Bring your hand down, set up your back foot for warrior one. Ground your back heel bone. Inhale, come up through the midline. Then bring your arms forward. Pretend like there's a wall in front of you that you're pushing away, and ground into your back center heel. Back leg tall, spine tall. Now remember that same feeling when we had the back against the wall. Now take your arms up slowly without your middle leaving the imaginary wall, and then start to bend your right knee. Bring your hands back down. Step back into plank, chaturanga push-up, lower slowly, pause, press straight back up, stretch back into dog. Raise your left leg up from the inner thigh. Shift into plank and pull your knee up to your chest. Step your foot up lightly by your thumb. Drop your back knee down, point your toes back. Bring your hands to your left knee and start to upright yourself. Lift your middle up. Raise your arm. Bring your hand down. Curl your back toes under. Lift your back knee up and twist. Take your left arm up. Bring your hand back down. Building heat, moving a little quicker. Step your back foot. Set it up for warrior one. Then lift up right up through the midline. Straighten your left leg, pretend like you're pushing the wall in front of you away, ground that back heel. Now lift up through your middle, feel the back ribs tall, back against the wall feeling as you raise your arms. Keeping your back heel bone grounded without locking your back knee, slowly start to stretch your back leg. Bring your hands back down, step back into plank pose. Lower slowly into low plank. Press back up into high plank, stretch back to dog. Pause in downward dog and reconnect to your breath. Reach into your middle 3 knuckles. Plug your inner arms up into the socket. Feel your collarbones broad. Look in between your hands. Step or float up lightly to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Sit your hips back like you're sitting into a little chair. Press right down through the center of your heel bones. And then reach your toe mounds down into the floor. Now lift up the front of your pelvis, raise your arms up. Center heels, press the toe mounds down. Stand in mountain pose. Find the back against the wall feeling again. A little awkward. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step or float back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot, warrior 1. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step your left foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Hold in your down dog, reconnect to your breath. Look to feel a balance between the in-breath, the length of the in-breath, and the length of the out-breath. Feel yourself expanding through the skin, out through the hands and the feet as you breathe in. And as you exhale, release the tension you need to be holding while you're holding. Look in between your hands. Step or float up lightly to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Sit back into chair pose. Stand Samasthiti. Inhale into chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step or float back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot. Inhale into warrior 1. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step your left foot. Warrior 1. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Reconnect with your breath. Now step your right foot up for warrior 1 again. Inhale, come right up through the middle. And then open up to your side for warrior 2. Angle your back foot inward slightly. Turn your right thigh out all the way so your knee is tracking with your second, third toe. And imagine that you had tables underneath your hands that you're pushing down into. As you push down into those imaginary tables, lift up through the back sides of your rib cage so that your abdominal wall can deepen again like when you're at the wall. The tendency is going to be for the abdominal wall to sink forward. So see if you can keep that integrity there. Long, tall lumbar spine. Then from here, hands to hips, tip your pelvis out over your thigh. Bring your forearm onto your thigh or place your hand onto the outside of your foot. Reach your left arm all the way over your ear. Press into your feet and come back up into warrior 2. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step back into downward facing dog or take a vinyasa. Step your left foot up for warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Open up to your side for warrior two. Back foot angles in a little, turn your left leg out, press down into the center of each heel, your big toe mound and your little toe mound. Push down with your hands like you're lifting your back ribs up. See if you can let your left thigh sink a little deeper without losing your back rib lift. Then tip from your pelvis, hands on the hips, go out over your leg, but keep that integrity in your middle, like you still have the lifted feeling as you go to put your hand down on the outside of your foot or forearm to thigh. Reach your right arm all the way over. Just remember when you're at the wall and the further you stretch your arm, the more your middle wanted to sink forward. Is that happening here? Mm-hmm. Press through your feet and come back up. Now this time, turn your left toes in so your feet are parallel. Stand tall. Bring your hands to your hips and roll your shoulders and your elbows back. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward in between your legs. Inhale, come into a flat back. Stretch your chest forward. Exhale, navel to spine, fold deeper. Inhale, come into a flat back. Press through your feet, come back up to stand. Spread your arms out and turn your legs to the right for triangle. The left leg angles in slightly, the right leg turns all the way out. Inhale, raise your right arm up. Exhale, take the length on the right side body, maintain it as you reach out into Trikonasana. Connect into the center heel, big toe mound and little toe mound on your front foot. Find the same thing on your back. As you spread your arms, make sure you're plugged in your middle. Breathe in and out through your nose. Reach down through your feet, come back up to stand. Turn your legs to the other side. Inhale your left arm up. Exhale, tip from your pelvis and reach out, keeping all that length on your left side body. Reach down through your feet, come back up. Now from here, step your back leg forward and stand tall in mountain. Bring your knuckles together behind your back or take reverse prayer. Step your left foot back about 3.5 feet. Inhale, roll your chest open. Exhale, start to fold forward out over your right leg. So let's just go halfway at first and pretend like you're laying out over a table. The belly softens back, your chest reaches forward. Can you connect into those 3 points in your feet? Then soften if you have the flat back, you can start to go deeper. If it's difficult, put your hands down onto something, a chair, blocks, etc. And really important that you can find this line. So if you need to look in a mirror and make sure that you have a flat back truly, before you can start to go forward and down, you want to make sure you have that flat back. Then inhale, come back to that flat back position. So important that you can find that. Arms straight back, hold there, or step up to balance on your right leg. Now if you've mastered Warrior 3, you can stay here with the hands back. Otherwise, put your hands back down onto that block or chair or whatever, and see if you can just work on leveling your hips and finding a mountain pose line, the same feeling, back against the wall feeling from your spine to your back leg. Then come up to stand, mountain pose. Inhale into chair pose. Cross your right leg up and over your left, and cross your right arm under for eagle. Uncross your arms and your legs. Bring your hands behind your back. Step your right foot back. Roll your shoulders open, heart open, and then tip from your pelvis. Go forward halfway. Hold there, or lengthen all the way out over your leg. Inhale back into the flat back. Arms straight back. Step up into warrior three, or put your fingers down and work on plugging your middle in as you stretch your back leg. Then come up to stand. Inhale into chair pose. Cross your left leg up and over your right. Cross your left elbow under. And hold. Spread the skin on the base of the back of the neck, the upper the trapezius. Let it release towards your shoulders. And then see if you can start to take the elbows forward and up without tensing in the neck, keeping the neck easy. Uncross your arms and your legs. Stand in mountain. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Sit your hips back. Raise your arms up. Take your arms forward, heels up. Lower your buns down onto your heels. Then put your hands down and hook your knees way up high into your triceps. If it's difficult to get deep into this position, I recommend using a box underneath the feet. And you can learn more about that in the arm balance course, which is part of the conscious movement community if you haven't signed up for that yet. I'll put the link below. So hands go down, belly softens back, then practice leaning into your chaturanga arms. And once you're steady, lift your feet up. Set your feet back down. Then lower your buttocks to the ground and come into Dandasana. Sit with your legs stretched straight out in front of you. Grow roots through your thighs, sit bones, spine upright. If you can't get your spine upright, seated flat, then join the club. It's difficult, so work yourself as upright as you can. You could bend the knees if it's too difficult. Then from there, lean your hips back. Lean back halfway until you find your tailbone and your sit bones. Then from the power of your middle, plug in, pelvic floor softens up, belly pulls up, lift your feet. Open up the toe mounds, the balls of the toes. See if you can lift one leg up without sinking all the way. Change legs. Then heels down, hands behind your head, control yourself down onto your sacrum. Abs in, one leg comes up. Change. Both legs up. Come back up into boat. Cross your legs, hands next to your hips, lift up. Lift your feet up too. Set your feet down, boat pose. Low boat pose. Now abs in, rocking boat pose. Come back up into boat. Cross your legs the other way, hands next to your hips, lift up. Feet 2. Set your butt down. Cross your legs the other way, step back into down dog. All right, then set your knees down. And for this next setup, I'm gonna recommend, if you have tight shoulders or any shoulders that you use a strap for this one, strapped up dolphin pose. So I take the strap and make sure that it's shoulder distance apart, and then I take it just above my elbows, and I wanna make sure that my biceps are turning into the strap. And then with my block, I'm gonna frame my thumb and index finger along the block. Now, I'm not showing this against the wall because I want you to be able to see, but just pretend like the edge of my mat is the wall. I take my block, flush up against the edge of the mat or the wall, and then I rotate my biceps into the strap. Now, when I do that, my middle wants to sink, so I plug the middle back up, and as I reach down into the forearms, I'm gonna see if I can lift the toes up, curl the toes under, and lift the knees up rather, just an inch. Then maintaining the feeling of my core staying integrated, it's gonna see, can we lift our hips all the way up? If it's going well, see if you can walk your feet in a little closer without your upper back rounding, and then raise your right leg up from the inner thigh. Change legs, left leg up. Set that foot down, lift your hips up one more inch. Okay. Then with your knees down, stretch your hips back, child's pose. Come back up onto your hands and your knees and stretch back into downward facing dog. Then walk your hands back to your feet, all the way back to the back of your mat. Soft bend in your knees, fold forward, Uttanasana for 5 breaths. Now as you reach down into the center of your heel bones, your big toe mounds and your little toe mounds, soften your navel back to your spine and start to grow your hips up higher up over your heels. Make sure that your lower back doesn't tense to do it. Now from here, hook your big toes, stretch your chest forward, and then as you exhale, fold even deeper. Now bring your left hand to your hip, shift the weight over into your left foot, come up to stand, holding your right big toe. Stretch the right leg straight out, bend your left knee slightly, up on it through the hips, ground down through the hips as you lift your heart. And then slowly start to grow the left leg from the length of the spine. Open your leg to the side. Bring it back to center. Change hands and twist. Now, if you lack the hamstring flexibility to get the left leg straight, both legs straight, I recommend practicing this sequence with your foot elevated like on a desk or something, or on a couple blocks or a chair seat. Come back to center. Plug your navel in as you take your arms up and lower your leg down. Stand in mountain pose. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Hook your big toes, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Shift into the right foot. Bring your left leg up. Bend your right knee. Release your left hip crease down, hips out of your back. And then from the length of your spine, grow your right leg taller. Open your leg to the side. Come back to center. Change hands and twist. Look forward, plug your navel in as you take your arms up. Lower your leg down and release your arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Walk yourself out into downward facing dog. Inhale into plank. Lower slowly into chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Raise your right leg up behind you. Keep your middle lifting as you stretch the leg, just like we practiced in the dolphin. Thoracic spine stays long, heart reaching to the thumbs. Pull your knee up to your chest. Step your foot up by your thumb. Ground down to the center of your right heel. Inhale your arms up. Bring your hands to prayer. Lean out over your right knee and twist. Hook your left elbow. Press down into the, what are these things called? Index finger knuckles, and spread across your collarbones. Then from here, put your right hand on your hip. Look down, left hand goes a foot in front of the foot on the inside. Raise your back leg up. Keep all that length through your lower back. Revolve your chest and take your right arm up. Then bring your right hand down. Soften navel to spine as you raise your back leg up. Bring your right hand to the back of your right ankle and fold. Lower your left leg to meet your right. Spin your feet to the left. Lift your heels up, squat down onto your heels. Then walk your hands around to the front of your mat. Soften your belly, let your belly turn, and then hook that left tricep way up high against your knee. Put your hands down at the top of your mat. Swivel your heels up. As you lean into your hands, just practice your alignment first before you go to take all the weight. The hips lengthen under you. The belly pulls up. Keeping your collarbones broad, lean into your arms, and then see if you can take all the weight. Set your feet back down, swivel the knees, step back into downward dog or take a vinyasa. Raise your left leg up behind you. Keep your middle in as you stretch that leg. Bring your knee to your chest, pull up. Step your foot up to your thumb. Track your hip crease back as you come up into crescent. Bring your hands to prayer. Lean out over your knee, twist. Then place your left hand on your hip, look down and slide your hand a foot in front of your foot, raise your back leg up. Bring your left hand down and fold forward over your leg. As you lift the left outer hip, stretch your right leg up higher. And see if you can bring one hand to the back of the ankle, maybe two. Lower your right leg to meet your left. Swivel to the right. Spin your heels up and lower your buttocks down onto your heels. Then spin your belly, turn to your left, hook your elbow, and see if you can get the knee to hook way up high by the head of the tricep. Then put your hands down. Place those hands shoulder distance apart. Let the hips hang under as you come into the preparation pose. Make sure that you have the integrity of the shoulder girdle, and then maybe lean into your hands. Set your feet back down, swivel the face forward, step back into downward facing dog or take a vinyasa. Then set your knees down, stretch back into child's pose. Okay, round two, we're gonna practice the Pincha Mayurasana setup. This time we're gonna see if after having done some hamstring stretching, if we can go a little bit deeper. So take yourself up against the wall. Then curl your toes under, lift your knees. Start to walk your feet in. Oh yeah, this is way better now. Raise one leg up. And if you feel like, oh, I'm lifting my leg so high, I could just kick up and over to the wall, go ahead. Otherwise, just keep holding your leg out. And then change legs. Set that foot down. Lower your knees down, stretch back. And then come into hero's pose, Virasana. Sit up straight and tall. If you can bind, you don't need a strap. Otherwise, take the strap over your left shoulder. Take your right hand behind your back. Raise your left arm straight up. Then bend your elbow and slide the hands towards each other. Pull in opposite directions. Release that and change sides. Release that. Then we'll come into Supta Virasana preparation. So walk your hands back a foot behind you. Roll your heart open, roll your shoulders, chest open. Hold there or go onto your elbows. Hold there or lie back over your block or whatever you have. And come back up. Then lie onto your belly. Stretch your arms all the way forward. Press down through the tops of the feet, just like we started. Make yourself as long as you can. Then bend your knees, reach back, lift up, and stretch back out. Again, bend your knees, reach back, reach the buttocks out of the back as you bring the heels towards the butt, and back down. Last one, lift up. Now this time, bend the knees all the way and catch the feet if possible. Breathe into the space between the shoulders, into your intercostals, feel your chest muscles spread. Release that. Roll up into upward facing dog. Stretch back into downward dog. Raise your right leg up behind you from the inner thigh. Bring your knee to your chest. Bring the leg into single leg pigeon position, and then start to scoot your left knee back. Hold here or start to come down onto the elbows. Now, if you're feeling the sensation, the stretch in the knee, that's a bad sign. You don't want to feel it in the knee, you want to feel it in your outer hip. Then just lie on your back and do ankle to knee pose instead, or stay in the upright variation. Then come back up. Stretch back into downward facing dog. And change legs. Bring your left knee up. Maybe lower onto the forearms, or go deeper. Come back up onto your hands. Now from here, sit over onto your left hip, swing your right leg around, and cross your right ankle on the outside of your left knee. Wrap your left elbow around and twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Release that. Change the cross of your legs. Wrap your right elbow around. Come back to center, and then cross your left knee right over top of your right knee and start to go forward. Now this one can be a little gnarly on the knees, again, just like the single leg pigeon. So if it's too intense, you can just do simple cross legs folding forward. Inhale to come back up. Change the cross. And start to go forward. Inhale back up. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, reach out for your feet. Feel your sit bones descend. Feel just like we were practicing feeling in Uttanasana, the skin on the back spread, the whole back of the spine moving forward and down evenly. Inhale back up. Lie down onto your back. For your final hip opener, let's take Happy Baby. Reach onto the insides of the knees. Grab a hold of the big toes or the outsides of the feet. Then release, hug your knees back into your chest, and stretch your legs out along the floor. Let your palms fall open at your side, and let go. Start by opening up the hands and the feet, let go of the tension there. Relax your jaw and your tongue. Let the eyes soften and release back. The sinuses soften the tension there. Let the inner ear relax and open. Empty the palate. So we surrendered, let go through the organs of action, now also through the sense organs. So these will pull us outward. And one of the things we want to start to cultivate in our practice is a more inward focus to where we can release back from the pull of the senses or enhance the senses inward to better feel what's happening on the inside, the flow of energy in the body. And that's called pratyahara and pranayama. So as we're practicing pratyahara, enhancing the senses in, do that by feeling now the flow of energy in your body, the vibrational quality in the body. And we're not going to try to control the breath, manipulate like we might do while we practice pranayama, but instead just watch, breath observation. Then staying very calm, bend your knees and roll to your side. Press yourself up to seated. And we're going to sit for just a little practice, pranayama practice. So cross your legs, take half lotus, full lotus, or just sit simple cross legs. Rest your hands with the palms facing up on the knees. And as you press down with the hands, feel the elbows lift, the chest lift. Then from here, lift up through the back of the skull and gently tip your chin towards your chest. Start to cultivate your ujjayi breath. Slight constriction in the back of your throat. Draw your breath straight down into your rib pipe. Smooth breath out. Practice making the sound the same with the in-breath and the out-breath. Now as you're doing this, instead of your rib cage heaving forward, keep your rib pipe aimed straight down and instead feel the horizontal expansion. The ribs, the rib pipe expanding, the whole circumference of the rib pipe expanding evenly as you're breathing in. But keep drawing it straight down the pipe towards the pelvis. And as you breathe out, feel the rib pipe start to move back in and down. Now see if you can integrate little pauses at the top of the in-breath and at the end of the out-breath. And let go of the breath control. Gently lift your head. Open your eyes. Bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today in this practice. I love hearing your feedback and connecting with you on here. It's a great way that we can stay connected in the new format, because we can talk right below the video. So drop me a line below. Let me know how you're doing, what you're going through with today's practice, things you struggled with, things that were too easy. Maybe we need to work more advanced variations. Maybe we need to tone some stuff down. So just let me know what you're having trouble with, and I'm happy to work with you. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.